All right, so let's go ahead and start. Um, all right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this event about ad strategies for elite coaches. My name is Charles Grayman, and I'm the founder of coachingleads.com. So basically, in short, my story is a few years ago, I started building a coaching business and quickly realized that it's incredibly difficult to get clients online. So I ended up taking a few digital marketing courses and worked for another coach for a while, who liked what I was doing for him so much that he referred me to other coaches, which led to me starting Coaching Leads. Um, we're a very unique marketing agency because we understand coaching values. I was originally came into the coaching world because I wanted to be a coach. And I find a lot of marketing agencies are just coming from a general marketing perspective where they can work for any industry, not specifically coaches. So they kind of tend to take let's push the product as much as possible instead of let's build relationships. So that's what's unique about Coaching Leads is that we bring the latest and greatest of the marketing world to the coaching industry while still maintaining and not compromising on the coaching values. So today we're just going to talk about mainly LinkedIn events and the ads and an ad strategy combined with that to consistently attract registrants who view you as an authority in your field. I think that's the key point is that when you make an event, people look at you as an authority. It positions you very well and gives you the authority and in your niche to be able to build trust and build those relationships. So before we get started on the actual strategy, I just wanted to ask if you can share, if you don't mind sharing in the chat, like what your most significant challenges currently in your coaching business, and what you would like to gain from this event. It would just be a little bit helpful for me to get that information just so I can, tailor what I'm saying to best fit your needs. So if I can just give you a minute or two to do that, and then we'll continue on. That would be very helpful. Okay. Bruce says lead generation. Okay, great.
To increase sales.
Okay. Okay, so great. So we have lead generation, marketing to increase sales, too early to tell. Okay. Getting people to book a call. Okay, fine. These are all, yes, these are all very important things. Um, and it could be things that, in person you're able to do, but when it's all online and there's you know, a big world of competition and everyone going after clients and everything like that, how do you kind of separate yourself and how do you get a consistent flow of leads um, and then close them? So yeah, so let's start. Um, okay, so there are a lot of different ways of using social media to get clients. Um, Obviously, there's content, posting content. There's engaging with comments, and just interacting organically. That is one way of doing it. That does tend to take a while. It takes time up front, and it also takes time to actually build it up to a point where you can have a brand that people notice. So that tends to be it's effective in the long run, but it tends to be something that we're always told, do it organically, um, and just kind of be yourself. But it does take a long time to build up a specific brand doing that, and ultimately we don't want to have to become content creators. We want to be coaches, and we like coaching, and we want to continue coaching without having to put hours and hours into. I'm getting a note that says my internet connection is unstable. Try to work something out. Um, yeah. So content creation, content marketing. It's a big that is a very, very good strategy, but it takes a long time to actually pan out, and it takes time to create the content. And ultimately, we want to be coaches. We don't want to be content creators. We want to spend our time coaching. Um, then there's cold outreach, right? That also kind of doesn't fully align with coaching values. It kind of feels like I'm supposed to be coaches are supposed to be the leaders and the guides, and why am I chasing after people? People should be coming to me, kind of, which makes sense. So that's also not such a great strategy, although it can work if it's done in the right way. um, a lot of coaches are hesitant to go that route. um, so kind of a not an in between, but kind of like a great way that I've seen so far. One of the best ways I've seen so far, for especially for coaches, is a webinar, essentially. So there's a webinar, and then there's specifically LinkedIn events, which you'll see is much more significant. The tools that LinkedIn gives you to set up the events um, are very valuable. So a webinar, the benefits of a webinar are as follows. There's, first of all, the you can start generating leads even before the event, right? So before and after the event, you could see who's signing up. And at the moment sign up, that's already technically a lead that you can engage with at that point if like to. And then afterwards, there's follow up and everything like that. So all of that is all, in other words, that can give you enough people on an event. So that's
I've lost the sound. Um, I've lost the sound.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. It looks like I got cut out.
This is miserable.
Okay. Sorry about that. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
All
you.
right. So let's continue. Um, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but let's just move on. So yeah, so the one of the main benefits of an event is that you can schedule one event per month, and that it's not like you're only doing something once a month at that time. There's a build up to it, and a follow up after, where you can be creating conversations, building relationships with people who sign up, um et cetera, et cetera. So In other words, it allows you to build relationships in an organic way, based on content and based on interacting with people, um, without having to kind of do a daily, to spend hours and hours per day doing it. It's kind of, one event per month. You don't have to put in so much. The second thing is that, so the mechanism that LinkedIn uses in order to set up an event, I'm going to share my screen and just show you a little bit, how simple it is, and also how you can really maximize, the leverage of the platform and the power that LinkedIn gives you regarding events. So give me a minute while I pull up my screen. All right. Okay. So, all right, you're able to, is everyone able to see this?
Yes.
See my screen? Okay, great. Okay, so let me head over to my page, and then, so the first thing is when you're creating an event, and you want to maximize it, you want to you want to make sure you have a business page, and you're creating the event through the business page. And you'll see why that's important, um, soon. So, okay, yeah, let's actually go there. Um, so I click on events, and this event that I'm doing right now. And I could show you on the back end that it gives you a lot of, information. So you can see who attended, and you can also download the registration info. So on a business page, when someone registers to your event, a form comes up, and it's pre-filled. LinkedIn pre-fills the form with the information they have from the user's account, and then the registrant submits it, and you get that information. And that you only have that through a business page. So that's kind of like an opt-in. A lot of people will, another strategy people use is a lead generator. Not sure if you're familiar, if you're familiar with that term, but it's basically you create a resource, and then people give you their information, and it's just like it's like a it's a way to begin a relationship on a when each party is not giving so much, right? So I'm just giving a pre-made resource, and you're just giving me an email, and it's like a step one, and then maybe, through follow-up or whatever, we'll eventually deepen the relationship, and maybe it'll turn into a client. So this is all, that same strategy is built in here, because you're basically creating your event, and that event is the free resource, or the free, gift that you're getting your email in exchange. They're giving their email in exchange for that. So it's kind of like a built-in lead magnet. So you don't have to build a separate lead magnet. You don't have to build a separate landing page and forms and everything. It's all right here in LinkedIn on this page. So that's I guess one is that a company page is important to use, because you can have that form and then keep track of the people, that show interest. The other thing is that it's also, technically, it's inbound leads, because you're creating a title, and based on the title, people will decide, is that a title that, I'm interested in? And if they register for the event, you can assume, oh, they're interested in that topic. So that shows you something about them without you having to, go search for them, right? They're coming to you. They're self-identifying by saying, hey, I'm interested in LinkedIn ad strategies. So, great. Now I know, I've been able to identify a bunch of people who are interested in LinkedIn ad strategies. So you're kind of using it as it almost works the same way an ad works. And this is all, we didn't even get to the ads yet. This is all completely free through LinkedIn and organic. Um, so that's another point. The next point, which is very valuable when it comes to LinkedIn events, is your ability to invite people, right? So here it's not showing because the event already started since it's happening now. Let me go to an event. Let me go to an event that it did not happen yet, and you'll see the invite button. This is the other part where a lot of people don't necessarily know this. Um, let's see if this one. Okay, this is another event that I'm happen to be registered for, and I can actually go to the event and invite my connections. So that LinkedIn gives you the ability to send a direct invitation to your first degree connections. So you can do that through your own event, and you can also do it through other people's event. But in order to maximize this, the way to do it is choose an industry that would be, ideal for your ideal target would be in that industry. Or if there's something else, another filter that they have up here, I usually find, like, maybe location, but I usually find industry to be the most helpful. And then let's say we'll choose that just to show you an example. And then what we'll do next is scroll down and see how it loads. So you keep scrolling down until it stops loading. I'm not going to do that all right now because it might take some time. But what that enables you to do is it enables you to select all. And it only selects the amount that you have loaded. So that way, that's why you want to keep loading all the way down before you select to get as many as possible. And I think the limit that LinkedIn sets for this is 1,000 invites per week. So again, if you're doing a LinkedIn event, a monthly event, and you send out 1,000 invites to your first degree connections each week, that's 4,000 invitations. And that's an invitation that goes directly to their notifications. So that's a very, very powerful tool, which, again, it's yes, you're sending out the invitation, but it doesn't come across as direct outreach. It comes across as inbound leads because it's a regular notification that LinkedIn sends on your behalf. And it's a very non-intrusive way of, getting people to essentially raise their hand and say, oh, sounds like a very interesting topic. I would like to attend that. And then you've just identified someone who's potentially interested in the topic that you solve for. So that's a very, very powerful way to do it. And so this is all organic. This is all just, it's completely free. It's all through LinkedIn. You don't even need a landing page. You don't need any sort of, it's a complete strategy that is completely within LinkedIn. So it's extremely valuable. And I think especially for coaches, because it gives you the ability to position yourself as an authority. I think that's something that it might be difficult for your first few times to run an event if it's not something you're used to doing. But most coaches I find are enjoy speaking in front of people. and enjoy meeting new people. And it could be any type of event. It could be, more casual. It could be more interactive, whatever suits you. But the main thing from a marketing perspective is your ability to create a title that then gets sent out to your entire network, or depending on how big your network is, 1,000 per week. It gets sent directly to their notifications, and then they can register to that event based on whether they're interested in the title. So you want to specifically choose a title that is something that you talk about or that you solve, and that you would want somebody who's interested in that topic to be your client. And then you're going to attract those type of people. So that's basically the LinkedIn event strategy. It has ups and downs in terms of popularity, but I think that ultimately that's really just on a macro scale. On a micro, for your own network, it's always a mechanism that's always going to work, because you're not relying on an algorithm. You're not, posting content, spending hours posting content. It's one event per month. You send out your invites, and then the people that accept your invite, you can engage. You could choose to engage right then and there. You don't need to wait all the way till the event until you engage. And then again, if you're doing it through the company website, the company page, you'll have a list of these people that you can potentially reach out to in the future and follow up or something like that. So the next, on top of all of this, like, let's say you do this. So I would recommend doing this, a couple times. And then seeing how many people, depending on how big your network is. If you have a significant sized network, you should be able to get, let's say, 2% of your invites. So let's say you send out 1,000 invites, so you get 20 attendants, registrants. So that typically seems to be what the percentage is. So you could theoretically get 80 to 100, let's say, per month, if you have 4,000 people to invite in your network. Not everyone has that, but that's, you could, as you start, you could start building your network. That's another thing that's important to always be doing, is finding people and connecting with them. So that's kind of, up until now, it's all organic. Now, on top of this, you can LinkedIn makes it very, very easy to advertise your event. And this is extremely convenient in a lot of ways. So let's go back to my event just to show you an example. Here it is. Okay, so the amazing thing about this is, first of all, if you've never done advertising and you're not sure, like, you don't want to get involved in something so complicated or whatever, you can just use this, boost your event to reach your target audience and increase attendance, and just press boost. And then LinkedIn will kind of set it up for you. But that does leave out a few details, and they don't necessarily set it up in the most optimized way for your convenience, and for building a system that you can create a new event and then start getting valuable information from the data, etc. I don't want to get too complicated, but that is something you can test out if you want. But again, they don't give you as many options. This is more kind of designed, like, just to do something quickly and easily, but it's not optimized necessarily. So that's something you can try out. The other way of doing it is creating a whole a LinkedIn ads account and setting it up properly. And all you need to do, and this is what makes it so so seamless is all you need to do is take the link to your LinkedIn event page, this link, and put it and plug it into the ads as your advertisement creative, and it automatically takes your event landing page and uses that as the ad creative. And it creates a call to action, and it creates an ad for you, essentially using the content on the that you've already created for your event. And that goes ahead, that turns into um, basically a full landing page. Typically when you pay for an ad, you would need the ad that's on the network that's being shown to people. Then you need a button that would go to a separate landing page, which is your website. And then you need to have certain tracking codes plugged into your website in order to make sure you're knowing who's actually converting on my website or who's signing up on my website. And that information has to be communicated back to LinkedIn so that they can track the progress and be able to charge what they charge. But here it's all built in. LinkedIn tracks everything for you. They have all the numbers for who saw your ad and clicked on your ad, and then who signed up after clicking on your ad, because it's all through LinkedIn. So it's a full strategy that's completely encompassed in LinkedIn. It's just an amazing, the simplicity of it. Obviously, there are technical things in order, like setting it up and everything. It's not that simple. You do need to take time to figure it out. But the theoretically, it's contained. You don't need to worry about getting a website. You don't need to worry about tracking codes and all that. It's all there for you. It's really essentially just, once you have that foundation of your event and you do go through the whole organic process and you start to get good at it, and you see that yes, events are something that I can do consistently, and then you get to the point where, okay, your network is only so big, then you can easily just plug it into a LinkedIn ads account, and by that time you'll know what it's worth to you to have attendance, to have registrants at your event. You'll know, if you've done 2 or 3 events, you'll know if it's something that you're able to convert clients after or not, or how, out of how many people, how many do you convert, and then you'll be able to calculate, okay, it's worth it for me to spend this and this amount of money on ads to get a certain number of attendees. And then you can kind of take that next step to ads, which is a great, again, it's a very seamless way of going into a world that a lot of independent coaches kind of just sign off because it's just seen as very complex, which there are aspects to it that are, but this is a very good way, a very seamless way of getting into paid ads, in a way that doesn't require so much of an infrastructure. So that's basically the strategy. I hope that was clear. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, so if there are no questions, so I just want to, how do the filters work? Which filters? The ones on LinkedIn, like the regular LinkedIn filters, or the invite filters? The invite filters. So they don't. The truth is that LinkedIn doesn't give you the full range of filters that they give you on a regular LinkedIn search or on a Sales Navigator search. I think they only they let you they let you filter location, industry, company, and school, I think. Um, I find that industry is the most important one. Even if your ideal client is not necessarily in a specific industry, like they could be in any industry, it's still worthwhile to choose an industry that you have some connection with. Maybe, some of your most of your if you can identify an industry that a lot of your previous clients have been from, and you're more familiar with that industry, it's worthwhile to focus on one industry. Not to say that you can't work with any other people, but for marketing purposes, it kind of it'll make you feel more comfortable when you interact with them, when you know the industry lingo, and you know how to relate to them, more. So the more you focus on one industry, the more you'll learn about it, the more people you'll talk to, um, and and yeah, so that's why I usually just focus on the industry filter when it comes to inviting people from your network. Um, so that's pretty much it. If there are any other questions, feel free to put in the chat. And if there's anyone interested in staying a little bit longer to hear how they could potentially how we could potentially work together, I do have an offer that I would like to make to people who showed up. So if you're interested, then you can stay on. If it's not something that you think would be relevant for you, then you can feel free to leave or whatever you want. So the offer is for anyone who is um, willing and able to invest in paid ads. If anyone is there at that point where they're confident that if they can fill up a room of people, they'd be able to close them, I would be willing to set up this entire system. Will I email a replay? Yes, I will try to email the replay. Yes. I would be willing to set everything up for you, and only require payment once we see that your event is filled up. Because I'm very, very confident that with paid ads, you can definitely fill up an event. And by fill up, I mean, I just was working with a client where we got 100 registrants for $400. So that's $4 each registrant. And if your coaching package is, between $2,000 and $5,000, right, all you need to do is close one of those, and you've made plenty back. So if you're in a place where you can invest in paid ads, that would be my offer. I would be willing to set up this entire system for you, and then only ask for payment once we see that you have a full event. So if anybody is interested in taking me up on that, you can I'll put a link in my calendar to my calendar in the chat, and you can book a call. My link is calendar.coaching. Okay. All right. So I put the link to my calendar in the chat. So and by the way, to clarify, so the minimum for LinkedIn ads is $30 a day. And so that's just, if that's something that you're willing to invest in your coaching business, yeah, I would be willing to help you set that up. And then, once you see that you have a full event and that it's something that you can easily make your money back. And the way ads work is that, it goes on forever. Like it's much more predictable, much more, you see the results that you get, and you can make a decision of whether it's financially worth it to continue. So I'm kind of just giving you that extra boost where, if you invest in the ads, um, then you could get to a point where you see that it works, you see that people are signing up for your event, um, and then you'll feel more comfortable putting in the rest of the investment. So yeah, that's what I have for you, and I hope that was helpful. I really really appreciate everyone coming. Um, and yeah, again, I'm looking forward to hearing from people if you're willing to, if you're interested in the offer. And um, yeah, I really appreciate everyone coming. And yes, I will try to send out the replay um, to to you. All right. So if there's no more questions, then I think I'm going to call it. Sure thing, William. Appreciate. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Yep. You're welcome, Bruce. You're welcome, Juliet. Thank you for coming.